There's a test at the end.
Oh, good. Oh, I took notes.
Oh, I gotta get up.
I got Yuri, Bear Slayer, Dita,
Xena fell in love with
Who's
Yuri
the leader?
from the bear.
Igor,
Who's the treasurer?
the youngest,
Luda, yeah.
Luda.
All right. Who worked at secret facility?
Oh, so we got Yuri,
Yuri Kree. Yeah.
Yuri, and then we have the other one of Alex's.
Yeah, Alexander.
Also,
Yeah, Rustem.
Rustem.
Yeah, he worked at the
Enterprise
Enterprise P.O. Box 10.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell that
Yeah.
was.
I think it was just construction. Like he was just
Maybe.
building stuff.
Maybe it was nothing sinister at all, but
Well,
you
I
give it
went
this
Parks
name.
and Rec.
Whenever I think of Enterprise, I'm like, oh yeah, car rentals.
He was running a car rental business.
I tried to look it up. I was like, what is going on? That PO box does not exist anymore.
Oh, no, of course it doesn't.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back to the True Crime Podcast. Part 2 of the Dyatlov Pass incident. Going
So-
deep dive into it.
We have left off at the tent.
Yes.
We've covered everything, or we have found their cache that they left at the bottom of their hiking trail.
Yes.
We've learned everybody's names, and we
Yes.
were just trying to do a little recap on
We
the
have-
names here.
Yeah, I was saying quiz by Emily.
We're trying to study for this test.
Yes.
No
There will
guarantee
be a
we'll pass
test.
it when
Oh my
it comes
God.
time.
But if you haven't watched part 1, go watch it.
Yeah.
Because you'll be confused.
be
This
very
will make no
confusing.
sense, and you'll be left unsatisfied.
Yeah, so search has started, and they finally find their tent. February 26th. The tent is finally found about 880 meters high on not the mountain they were going to, but Dead Mountain.
Dead Mountain?
Yes. So
There's a place called Dead Mountain,
Yes.
and they went there. And they didn't go
They
there, but they're
stopped
near
there.
it.
You're
Yeah.
stopping it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But still.
the actual name, like this is the translation. The actual name is a Mansi word for the indigenous tribe. That it means more like empty mountain, like just
Okay.
nothing grows, no animals. It's not good hunting ground.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's not like don't go here, you'll fucking die. It's
Yeah.
just
Well,
like
it's also kind of that way because there's no food there. There's not much of
Probably,
it.
yeah.
So, I mean,
Sure.
It's not
kind
a
of a
very
mix of both.
high mountain. It's only like 1,079 meters
Uh.
high. So on the screen there is a topographical map of the Dyatlov Pass, 2 mountains, which are like the circles. If a circle's tied together, that's a steeper incline.
trying to remember. I remember I learned how to read these topographic maps when I took a geology class in college, but I don't remember everything. Like the little triangles on the lines mean like
Say,
the angle.
Tebow liked to make them.
Yes, he did. Yeah, so we got 2 mountain peaks. They're very small. They're hills. They're one of them is just named 880 meters. But going through between them goes up to the mountain where they were going to be. They did not go through the valley. They decided to go up the left mountain, which would be the western mountain. I believe, well, everyone believes to like keep the altitude. So they thought maybe like the snow would be easier to go through if they stayed up high instead of going through the valley where it's probably going to be,
Several feet.
yeah. Yeah, the snow was so deep.
Yeah.
So, and they set up their camp at a 30-degree slope. Some people say 20 degrees. Did we die?
No, that's a Discord
That was a
notification.
Discord.
Oh, why are we in
Just turn
Discord?
volume off. Volume's off.
Sounds off.
There we go. We're muted now. We got to remember to mute in the future before we start these things. We're learning as we go here. We're amateurs becoming professionals.
I'm not Gen Z. I'm not used to all this new
I'm not a
tech.
Gen Z either. Shush.
I swear I'm tech
Only
savvy.
a
I
few
swear.
months older than me. Barely anything.
Okay, what was I saying? So
They're going up a slope.
yes. So the way they set up, like they weren't just like on an angle. They like carved out in the snow like a level slab. So there's a diagram here on screen where there's like a little ridge. They got their flat land, and then behind them is the rest of the slope of the mountain or the snow. So one of the last pictures they took was them setting up camp. So this is them digging out the slab where the tent was going to go.
And this is just to shield them from the wind, like the Arctic wind comes over them over the
Yeah.
slab instead of like freezing them to death.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like the wind would hit the mountain, not them.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So the tent was found covered in snow. Just the middle part. The entrance actually was the only thing sticking up out of the snow. It is facing, like the entrance is facing south. Most of their equipment was in there. Most of their warm clothing. was still inside, but no bodies were found. And apparently, according by the shutter speed and the light or whatever, forensic people determined it was 5 o'clock when this picture was taken.
That's some serious forensics. I wouldn't know how to tell that just by looking at a photo.
Part of me doesn't believe it.
Yeah, what if they're just bullshitting? Like they know we won't question them, so they're just making stuff up. That was 5:03 p.m.
Yes. I will say, when did the sun sets? About 5:36. So like they make camp before the sun sets. Like close enough, sort of thing. Yeah. So no dead bodies.
Nobody stayed behind and froze.
Yeah, most of their stuff is still in there. So yeah, it's collapsed. And it was covered in about 15 to 20 centimeters of snow. I was going to pull out a ruler to show y'all Americans what a centimeter is, but I didn't have one with centimeters on it.
Yeah, we're going to have to just imagine it in our heads. So
We've taken science classes. We can figure this out.
Y'all
a
can
meter
visualize.
is like 3 feet, basically.
Well, I mean,
almost,
like, and a foot is like...
Foot is a third of a meter, so...
Yeah.
Well, these are centimeters.
Yeah, and then the centimeter is 100.
Well, yes, we know that. Like, yes.
Yeah, 100
I'll
makes
shut up.
meters.
We'll say like the centimeters is like
Yeah.
about almost like 30 of them.
Some fiction, yeah, that would be a little like...
Where was I? Yeah, it's covered in snow under 15 to 20 centimeters. And on top was a flashlight. One of the members of the rescue party just pick it up and turn it on, and it's full battery. It was on the off. So
They weren't using their flashlight.
it's very interesting. Some say, like some of the witnesses who were like part of the search party, some say the entrance was open, some say partially open. And we don't have any pictures of the entrance, and we don't even know what kind of closure it was, but it's most likely for the time period. And like the search parties, people, we have pictures of their tents is probably similar.
Yeah.
So it's like those wooden oval toggles where it's like it's on some jackets where like.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Those kind of things.
Yes.
You get those at like REI and those kind of places that have that outerwear that has those things on it.
Yeah, like the hiking aesthetic.
Yeah, it is an aesthetic.
So there was also an ice axe stuck on the canvas. Some say next to the canvas. We do have it in the picture. It's this looks like a little tiny cross on the other side. Yeah, that's the ice axe. The tent is pretty wide, so it could be on top of the tent. Like I said, very poorly documented.
But are people theorizing like maybe somebody was trying to use that axe to get into it, or like, I don't know.
Maybe. Well, there's weird things about I think the tent is the weirdest thing.
It is. The whole setup seems weird. Like every detail is just like, why was that? So
there's usually like 2 poles, to tie it like a regular tent.
Yeah.
Tie it to 2
poles.
poles. The one near the entrance, missing. One near the front, still there. But the rope was frayed, I think. The north side. Yeah, so the back side. And what is the word? The other, they did find a ski pole. I'm not sure if they were using the ski poles to like prop up the tent, but they were skiing. Their skis are there.
Yeah.
One of the ski poles was broken into several sections. Kind of unusual.
Very unusual.
Yes, and there is a broken ski like 20 meters down the hill.
Was there maybe a skiing incident, like a skiing accident?
For all we know, everyone was in the tent at the time of the incident. So
Man, none of this adds up. This is so mind-boggling. I'm just thinking of
you're just like you get so much worse.
It's only getting worse. I'm just thinking of going to the Bigfoot
worse.
Museum and seeing that like diorama of the Bigfoot attack on that camp, and I'm just thinking of that, and then I'm thinking of this.
you're gonna go crazy.
Oh no,
it's gonna keep you up at night.
Weird. Yeah, it's very wild.
So, and some of the searchers, so like not investigators, thought there was like urine near the entrance of the tent. I don't know how long urine stays. It is the snow. It is like subarctic. So like things like their footprints stay sort of thing.
Yeah.
Don't eat the yellow snow.
Yeah. Wow. No picture. It's so unprofessional.
We just got to imagine whatever this is.
Can't believe you did that.
I'm trying to this was probably like notes for me. Yeah, that was notes for me. So yeah, the search party takes out all of their belongings, which is they do need to catalog it, but they do this before the investigators are there. We don't really know whose stuff belongs to who. And we just have witness testimony of how things were placed in the tent.
Yeah.
So not very well documented. they're still like hopeful, like everyone's still alive and they just need rescuing. So they're not expecting a crime yet.
I can just picture it like when they find what they find and they start freaking out.
It's yeah. And like most of them are like classmates.
Yeah.
Which is awful.
That's freaky.
And like one of the classmates has to like identify a body like on the spot. And I could not imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. Where you have to like turn that over and be like, holy shit.
Yeah. So some of the stuff that was found in the tent, all 9 of their backpacks and all including all their documents, like their passports, their a bunch of money. A bunch of money was like in their clothes too. And all their diaries. So all the diaries we have. And most of their warm clothing, like I said, 2 of their blankets were either folded on top of their backpack, like neatly, or they were set out like they were going to bed. Mm-hmm. The rest of the blankets were all crumbled in a pile and like frozen together.
Yeah.
Obviously been there for a while. Not all blankets were found. I believe it's Sasha's the one that's missing. For no, so like in the when they're this isn't important. This is going to be too long.
Detail. Okay. Yeah.
So at the entrance of the tent, you go in. Rustam's jacket is hanging there. Mm. We think this could be like to block the wind or whatever. Later, someone says that there was like a tent, like bisecting the tent. And later, Yuri Yudin, the one who survives, says, oh, that was to separate the boys and girls side. This doesn't quite make sense. There's only 2 girls.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be an equal divide in that case.
And in one of Luda's diaries, she literally says like the order they slept in that night. The 2 girls are with like 2 other guys. So it's, which was not unusual. Like you do what you got to do in the Ural Mountains on a difficulty 3 hike. So we don't know quite if these things existed or why they were in their places.
But this is all just testimony from these people, and we don't know if it lines up with anything concrete.
Yes. Yeah. And some people are like, I heard that they found this. Like the investigator says this a lot.
Yeah, they're just saying like, I heard, like it's a rumor or who knows.
Yeah.
This is very wishy-washy.
Yes. So they found a bunch of their clothing. I could list all of them. They found 8.5 pairs of boots.
8.5. So one boot was missing?
Yes. And like 1 full set and a half a set.
That's so weird. What happened to the other boot? That's what's going to keep me up at night.
Of course, their cameras and their camera equipment, Igor and Alexander's jackets, and a bunch of miscellaneous stuff. But in particular, a box of matches, sewing equipment, and the first aid kit, and some food. And an axe, a saw, and 2 finished knives.
Finished knife? Like what makes a knife a finished knife? Is it like a special kind of knife? I don't have to look
it
that
is,
up
It is
later.
a special kind of knife. I didn't look it up.
Yeah, maybe it's some kind of like woodsman's knife or a utility thing.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So in this diagram of what was inside the tent, they have the pipe that Igor built set up the way it would have been. Like it's suspended. Allegedly, according to their diaries, they were doing a cold night. So they weren't using their stove that night. Just trying to get extra XP, doing it harder.
Yeah.
It's very normal. And we know it was not suspended. It was near the entrance inside in its case. Some people try to bring this like, oh, the stove fell on top of them. It was in its case.
Couldn't have happened.
Yeah.
And this was the contraption he built for them.
Yes. And there's only like one witness who says like, oh, there was some food there that's like half eaten. I only saw that like one place, so grain of salt. But an interesting thing about the tent is that the right side, so the side facing the slope, like going down the hill, ripped to shreds.
As if by some beast, just saying.
The left side, we do not have a picture of. Apparently there was a hole closer to the entrance. Obviously not as bad because they're like a hole ripped to shreds.
Yeah.
So this is when they start being like, oh, something might have happened here.
Yeah, this went bad.
This could have been a criminal
Either
case
someone
now.
getting in, but also they trying to get out.
Maybe.
Yeah. So what do I need to say? So they brought in an actual criminologist to do the forensics on the tent. So her job is just, they ask her, was this cut from the inside or the outside of the tent?
That's exactly like what they would want to know. Are they trying to get out or did something come in to them?
So I will say her job is not to catalog every single cut. She's just answering that question.
Yeah.
So we don't have a catalog of every single cut on this tent.
So it could have been multiple cuts that could have been going in, some going out.
Yes, exactly. So here's a little diagram from the criminologist. So these are the, there's a difference between cuts and tears. So cuts will, like a tear will go with like the weft and the up and down parts of
The way it's
weaving.
woven, yeah.
Yeah, they'll tear at those seams. A cut will like go across multiple, like diagonally. So I believe it was she determined that there were a few cuts from the inside that were pretty decently long. So I will point them out on the screen. Sorry, audio listeners. There's a small cut, a bit larger cut, and one in the middle of two very large tears. To me, this looks like they're trying to get out. They have to cut open. For some reason, the entrance is not accessible. And I believe like they cut and maybe tore the rest, like they were in a hurry, because on the smaller cut to the left, the edges are torn. So like they started to cut, started to tear. Maybe it wasn't working. They go to a different place.
So they were potentially frantic in here, trying to
Yes.
get out away from something, and they
Yes.
can't use their entrance to the tent.
Yes, the vibe is frantic.
Yeah.
Just some reasons she thinks it's from the inside. There are like marks from the inside, like they're missing, or I'm not exactly sure. And I didn't put it in here, but she does show like an actual cut through, like, you know how like a bullet hole, the backside is going to be like more damaged because
Yeah.
like of the momentum, the explosion.
Everything gets pushed out the other
Yes,
side.
it's kind of like that. So that's how she knows. They know. I don't know if it's a she.
Who's doing this investigating? Someone.
For some reason in my head, it's a she. This is the way she decides, yes, it was cut from the inside. Very suspicious. But
There's more.
some internet investigators have studied the pictures of the tent, because that's all we have, and says there are more cuts that weren't cataloged. There are like 3 near the top that some say that's at eye level. And maybe they were peeking through.
Some kind of spy hole thing happening.
But if we're going with it was frantic nature, why would they make an eye hole ruin their tent if they had time to just peek out the front? Or maybe the front was, or the entrance was inaccessible somehow.
Been snowed in, or something was blocking it. Or
Or maybe they heard something from the front and they were like, let's take a peek from the side, like see what's going on.
Well, the cuts are closest to the entrance. It's very interesting.
yeah.
I still stand by it. They still can like peek out.
Yeah. But
They just don't want to look out the front.
yeah, this is people on the internet from pictures. We don't know if these were cuts or tears or from which direction, inside or outside the tent.
So it's anyone's guess.
Yeah. So the weather.
Pretty cold up there, huh?
Yeah, like I said, they left without most of their warm clothing. There are 8.5 shoes left, at least. Only one person has shoes on, assuming. So they went out without their shoes. But it's cold out there. It is a negative 30 degrees Celsius during that day, which is about negative 20 Fahrenheit. And that's deadly
Yeah, and that's during the day when the sun is out. And
if
then-
it happened during the day.
Yeah, so we don't know this.
Exactly.
It could have been during the middle of the night.
Yeah. So death by hypothermia at these temperatures can happen in under an hour. Frostbite in a matter of minutes.
Yeah. I lived in Alaska.
Yeah, Kelsey knows this.
No, it was negative Fairbanks, Alaska, negative 20 and 30s most days.
Yeah, that's about that latitude.
The coldest
isn't it?
was negative 50 I've ever.
Yeah. And if you add wind chill, it could have been as cold as negative 40 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, humans are not meant for that.
No.
We're not supposed to be there.
So whatever was inside the tent, that danger was more dangerous than the cold outside. Just crazy.
God damn it. What was it going to be?
But also, if you're so scared and stuff, like you don't know what's going on, you're not thinking about the temperature outside. You're thinking, get out.
So some symptoms, you're going to be shivering. You're going to get very exhausted, very sluggish. You could have some confusion, some memory loss, maybe even hallucinations.
Hallucinations is interesting given the situation, though.
Yes. It's
Somebody might have had a little cold creeping in and then started to freak out and see something. Who knows?
I will say, I think this is like progressive. Like that's near the end.
So it wouldn't just suddenly onset. And you'd
Yeah.
be near death already by the time you're seeing lizard men coming for you or something.
I've almost been frostbit twice.
Oh, man. Really? When was this?
One of it, I was sitting in my car, and so like my car was off. So I was progressively getting colder, so I didn't notice. Yeah, and I couldn't feel my feet.
Oh, no. Yeah, that was pretty close to frostbite then.
Yeah.
Well, frostbite, I mean, it's painful.
It's
so painful.
yeah, I didn't get to that point, but like I couldn't feel like my fingers, my nose, my toes. There was like a red rash on my torso.
Yeah.
I almost died that day.
Wow. Yeah.
Because it gets, because I mean, being in that kind of water, like even just you can feel it, your hands start hurting so much.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, that's when they got to
really
take
bad.
your fingers and toes off and stuff when you really get frostbitten.
Yeah. But with the progression, you could lose consciousness. You get so tired, you just fall asleep. And your heart and respiratory system might fail near the end.
The footprints.
The footprints were preserved because it's subarctic. I'm sure you know, Kelsey, living in Alaska. So their footprints were actually like raised above the snow. So this is called pillar footprints. And this happens because when you step on snow, it like gets compressed and like, you know, like if you walked on the snow and like the next day your footprints are still there because it's like frozen.
Yeah.
Because it's all
I
compacted.
get how that could be.
Yeah.
So their footprints are more compacted. The wind comes the next day, blows the loose snow away. So their footprints look like they're raised up.
That's an interesting thing. I've never seen that before.
So apparently the searchers and investigator later was like, there's 8 or 9 footprints, 8 or 9 people, and most of them were barefoot with socks. And at least one of them was in boots, which makes sense. Like a pair and a half were missing.
Yeah.
And it was starting 30 to 49 meters down the slope. So remember there was like a ledge before the slope of the hill. Like there was the tent, a little ledge, hill. So they had to get over that before their footprints started appearing, apparently. And there was like, the wind was happening. So like there were like snow drifts that could have covered the footprints. And it goes up to 500 meters before disappearing near the tree line. So they come out. The investigator says that the footprints appeared to be, they were very calm walking.
Yeah.
One of the searchers says they were too far apart. They were running, or at least jogging.
So a bit of a divide there in the school of thought.
Yes. And I like this picture. The picture's not great.
And that's all you got to work with, yeah.
And it looks frantic in that.
Yeah.
Because that's how the photo's taken.
Yeah. And it was interesting. So a ton of the pictures they take while they're skiing, they're all in a straight line.
Yeah.
Because you need to like move the snow out of the way so everyone can walk. Here, they're walking abreast. They're walking like side by side. Like, were they holding hands? Were they, some people say they were like being battered by the wind. So like they're not walking in a straight line. Who can say? But this descent is pretty steep and it's difficult even on like hard snow. So to have like slippery snow, there's no evidence of anyone like tumbling down the hill.
So nobody fell based on what you can see here.
Yeah.
Maybe they can't be that frantic in that case, or maybe they're just, they're skilled enough that they're not going to.
Yeah, like they could have been walking calmly to not fall down the hill.
Maybe they just know to do that.
Yeah. And they're heading towards the closest tree line, which is directly to the northeast. So towards the other hill mountain.
Yeah.
Just a reminder, their labaz, their storage is to the south, their destination is to their north.
And they're going there for cover, you think? Like to get out of the weather or
hide
something. From whatever the hell they're running from.
Those are the theories, to hide or cover from the weather. I will say the snow is apparently deeper in the forest because the trees collect snow and eventually the snow falls down, so it accumulates. Just so you know. So apparently there was a landmark, really big cedar tree. And apparently even the searchers were like, oh, that's probably where they went, because that's like the biggest thing that you can see. So they go down, the footprints follow the ravine, and there's like, the thing with them walking abreast is like people focus on, I don't know, they imagine them holding hands. Maybe they were blinded, so they had to hold hands. I think it's too much. It's too dramatic.
It is. That seems like some kind of climax of a movie thing. Yeah. They'd be like holding hands and trudging through the snow. But I mean, in real life, would it be that way? Who knows?
I don't know. It's too much for footprints, I think. Yeah,
I'm picturing like the music from Interstellar or something playing while they're like freaking out over something coming for them.
And about 450 meters down the slope, which is almost the entire way down the slope to the tree line, there's a flashlight that is in the on position, battery drained.
One of them took a light with them.
Yeah. So the searchers get to the big cedar tree, which is, it's a bad picture, but the cedar's in the middle. I want you to take
It's funny saying big cedar tree, and it's like, it's not really that big.
It's
big compared to those trees, but it's just like looking at it.
Yeah, a lot of the trees around it are new trees, so they're not as tall.
But it's just funny when you hear big
It's
cedar
all
tree. I'm like,
relational. Yeah, I was picturing like a redwood size thing.
I know.
Yeah.
And then you see it and it's just a regular tree.
Like,
it is pretty tall.
Yeah, still makes a landmark.
But I want y'all to notice the snow around it.
Mm-hmm.
What can you deduce? I don't expect much because it's not a great picture.
I don't know. Just what I can see from this picture. I mean, you go first, Kelsey.
I was going to say they moved some of the snow, it looks like. I don't know.
Yeah, so they
moved
think
it.
The snow's like trampled around the tree. Like there were a lot of footprints there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of what I could see where it looks like it's been sort of trampled down and it's deeper into the ground than the rest of that snow around.
So they think that the group like stayed here for a second and like gathered. So the cedar, they first found evidence of a pit fire. So you dig a hole in the ground, you make a fire. And they somehow, I'm not a forensic scientist, know that it burned for an hour and 30 minutes, 2 hours.
Okay.
So not very long.
Crazy that they can just deduce this.
I know.
I don't know how forensics people do what they do.
Well, the crazy thing about forensics is that, I mean, like, obviously, I'm not saying that this is not right, but it's a newer science.
It is, and this is the 1950s.
It is the 90s. So it's a lot of, they're still trying to figure it out. Like, even today, we're starting to figure out things are not as accurate as we once thought. Like people say, like, oh, every fingerprint is unique. There's been no study on that to actually check that to see if that's real.
What are the chances that it could be true? I mean, you're going to have one eventually that's just going to be similar enough to another person's fingerprint.
There's never been a big enough study to really test that. We don't know.
If you just tested every human, I'm sure you'd find some overlap.
That's crazy.
So it's not as, we don't know if that's actually accurate. So that's
That's fascinating.
But I mean, I do think that there is a way to test that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, but forensic science is a weird science that they're still trying to figure out what's accurate and what's not.
And at this time, it would have been like,
even more.
sharpest edge of the sharpest edge, like new technology. Yeah. People are like, whoa, you guys are like wizards. What are you doing?
The fact that they had DNA is crazy to me.
Yeah.
But I also think, like, when we do bonfires, like we're maybe doing tonight, depending on the weather.
Don't dox us.
This will be weeks later.
How are they going to find us anyway? Follow the smoke signal?
Well, also, this is weeks later, but they see this episode. We're fine.
We'll be out of here by then.
So, but just to go on that, the wood doesn't burn that long when we do those bonfires. We have to constantly add more wood to it. So burning for an hour and a half sounds about normal for a fire. They probably stop adding wood to it.
Must have.
So we think because of the snow, it was hard finding dry wood. There were several pieces of clothing around the fire, some wool socks, cotton socks, a burned handkerchief, some cuts of fabric. One was like, what's this part called? The cuff of a sweater was cut off. This could be because there are socks and they're not wearing shoes. I think they might have been drying their socks.
That would make sense. I think like when you get a wet sock in that freezing weather, it's kind of standard practice to just stop, build a fire, dry your sock because you don't want to have wet socks.
Yes. The others might have been fuel for the fire. Because there were a bunch of like twigs around, but they were not good firewood. I've never made a fire. I don't know how they were not good.
I mean, they're probably just a sweat. That's probably the big thing.
Probably,
because twigs, I think you put twigs in fire, that's a normal thing.
Yeah, they're kind of tinder where they catch faster than bigger logs. But I could see them like sacrificing a cuff as tinder, be like, I can live without this part of my...
Yeah, exactly.
And then just light that on fire.
The tree itself is interesting. So for up to 5 meters, so what is that, 15 feet? That's really high.
Yeah.
All of the branches were like broken off for the fire, I assume. Broken off and cut off like with a knife. So at least one person has a knife.
I wonder if they climbed them to get to the high ones first and then just worked their way down or something. Well,
someone did climb the tree, assumedly, because 5 meters up, it is like, not every single branch is gone, but like it's been scraped. Like this picture, you can see like a naked side of the tree.
It's true. They clearly took that side off every branch.
We don't know why, because not all of these branches were used for the fire. Like some of them the branches were just hanging on lower branches. Like they were just clearing it to clear it. And this is a ton of work. This is a big cedar. So multiple people would have been doing this.
I wonder if they had some kind of frantic plan to like, let's build a new shelter out of these branches. Our tent is fucked. So we gotta, but maybe they abandoned that midway and just left the branches hanging.
Which is still crazy because like I would at least try to drag the tent down and try to at least use some of the fabric. The
tent is so weird because like they know roughly the direction the tent was in. They could have gone back to the tent, but for some reason they don't. Like all their clothing and food is there too. Like them not being able to go back to the tent is like I think, the core problem.
Yeah. And it's so suspicious. Clearly something is in the tent. Something happened in there that they do not want to go anywhere near again.
Because that's what I would say. I would be in the tent.
Yeah.
Trying to at least stay warm.
That's still your safest place.
Mm-hmm. There is a theory that like at least one person went back, but like everyone died outside. So that, grain of salt.
Yeah, nobody died in the tent.
Yeah, because there was like a pinned part of like the torn. Like there was a tear in the tent. They think on one side of that sheet in the middle, someone like pinned up the tear and sat in there. Why would they not stay in there though?
Yeah.
You know? So, but back to the tree. One of the theories is they were clearing the branches because it's in the direction of the tent. So maybe they were trying to find their way back to the tent, or they were kind of like trying to get a look to see where the danger is.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like a lookout thing where they climb the tree and just get a lookout position.
Yes. Very eerie. But at the bottom of the tree in the snow, the first two bodies are found. So it's Yuri Doroshenko and Yuri Cree. So the two Yuris.
The two Yuris.
Yeah, the bear slayer.
Bear slayer.
And then the one who worked in a secret nuclear
facility. Exactly. They were laid out next to each other and there was a blanket over them. So the missing blanket, burial style. So like their heads were covered. And both boys were wearing next to nothing. Like they were in their underwear and then like another layer of clothing. So definitely not for the cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you think their clothing was like taken off of them when they were dead and like we're going to reappropriate it because they're already goners? And
exactly.
That's got to be it,
yes.
right? And they were given some kind of like funeral type thing, I guess.
Yeah.
If they're like covered with blankets and left.
Yes. And they were moved next to each other.
Yeah, so they kicked the bucket and the rest of them had to leave them behind.
So Yuri Doroshenko, he was found February 27th, the day after the tent was found. His cause of death was hypothermia. He was found face down, lying next to Yuri, but the rigor mortis was like, do y'all want to explain rigor mortis?
I feel like I have a basic understanding of rigor mortis, but I don't know the whole like forensic or whatever it would be to give it the exact definition.
Do you want to do it, Kelsey, or I can do it?
I mean, yeah, it's just the fact that like the way your body gets like stiff.
Yeah, you kind of stiffen up.
You stiffen up and
like your blood pools.
Yeah.
So wherever like your blood pools is where gravity was. So his the evidence of rigor mortis was on his front. So he was moved into a face down portion after death. So he was probably dragged close to his friend so they could be laid together. So I'm gonna go through each victim, what they were wearing. There is a diagram later. Do you think I should read out all of their clothing or just show the diagram? I should say them.
I feel like we should say them. I already see there's another 23 here, by the way. The right thigh and inner thigh, 23 centimeters.
Get out.
This is starting to freak me out.
So Yuri Doroshenko, he wore a sleeveless cotton undershirt, a short sleeve shirt, shorts, and swimming trunks, and underpants that were ripped on the right thigh, which is where the 23 centimeter cut is, and mismatched socks. The left sock was burned. He does not have any shoes. So maybe they were trying to warm their toes as well. Got too close to the fire. Possibly. In his hair were particles of moss and pine needles. So we think he was one of the ones who climbed the tree. So Yuri, these are all his injuries. This might take me a second.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's a lot.
It's because I wrote down every single injury they had, but you don't need to hear all that. Interesting thing about his autopsy, just some highlights. So the right side of his hair was burned. His ears, nose, and lips were covered in blood, and he had a swollen upper lip with hemorrhaging, which in my expert amateur opinion, means that happened pre-death. Like if blood was flowing pre-death, I assume.
Seems to be that way if the rigor mortis thing means your blood sort of pools and collects.
Yeah. And there was like a gray foam coming from his mouth, like smeared across his cheek. This is pretty common with congestive heart failure, which can happen with severe hypothermia. But some people theorize it's from like a crushing pressure to his chest. And some people say that's a technique of the secret Stalin police. So maybe it was the Stalin police who came in. It's possible. Maybe not the Stalin police, but
somebody like that.
Yeah, someone could have done this. I think it's more likely to be the hypothermia, though. So all of his fingers and toes were extremely frostbitten. The worst of the others, like if he had lived, he would have had to have all his fingers and toes amputated. Oh, yeah. There are some abrasions on like his shoulder and armpit area. This could have been post-mortem where like they dragged him by his shoulders, in my opinion, in my expert amateur opinion. I think the most interesting things are is he the one with the huge cut on his arm? Yeah, like his left arm had a huge gash in it, and it was just covered in blood.
Oh man!
And there were some abrasions on his shins, which is similar to the other Yuri. Do you have any theories so far? Oh, so he had less urine in his body than is typical than hypothermia victims. Apparently, hypothermia makes your body produce more urine. I don't know why, but he had less than is typical.
Well, if it's caused by like a crushing, could he fell from a tree or something a little bit?
That's what I think. I think he fell from the tree.
Yeah, especially if he had all the tree stuff in his hair.
Yes.
He could have just fallen through a bunch of branches and taken on needles and stuff. I think it's also interesting, like the burnings. Because I've heard stories about hypothermia where people get it so bad they just light themselves on fire in desperation. I don't know if that's what happened here, but that's just giving me the vibes of that in this weird way. Where like,
I think I'm jumping the gun a bit, but I think he fell from the tree and fell in the fire.
Yeah,
I was also thinking like he was probably by the fire and they tried to move him a little bit.
And like all of them have like very small abrasions like all over their body. Like,
but they were also hiking and stuff too.
Also hiking.
That's gonna take
a level 3.
It's level 3.
And all of them, I think all of them, or it was only said in some of the autopsies how long after death they had died, or how long since they'd eaten they had died. So from Yuri's autopsy, 6 to 8 hours after he had last eaten, he had passed. So if they had eaten at like 5, 6 after they got the tent up, this would have happened in the very early hours. So like midnight, 3 a.m. If that was his last meal, that last dinner in the tent. We don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah, that's all the interesting bits about Yuri's autopsy.
We got a decent theory of how he might have died.
Yeah. And this is a nice little diagram I found last minute, just visually showing injuries and what they wore. I think this is going to be helpful because some people are more well-dressed than others. So Yuri Cree, found the same day, cause of death, also hypothermia. He was found face up and wearing an undershirt, long sleeve shirt, swimming pants, long underpants, socks, one torn, and no footwear. So one torn sock. So, and the tips of his nose was missing. There was no blood, so it's most likely like a small animal came in.
Something gnawed on him.
Yeah. Very common. Very gruesome, but very common.
That's just nature, red in tooth and claw.
Yeah. So also very frostbitten. So he also has like his shin scraped up, and he has a very similar, no one's mentioned this, but a very similar cut to his thigh, like the inner part of his thigh, same as Yuri.
Both of them had that.
Yeah.
Weird.
And he has like one injury to his armpit. So I've fallen out of a tree before.
Yeah.
And like I caught myself like on 2 branches, like on like the armpit region.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. But like would dislocate your shoulder, I'm sure. So
yeah, that force falling from that height, probably not very good.
Which was not found on the autopsy, but I just wanted to put my 2 cents in. Yeah, I think like their shins were scraped up on the fall down, in my opinion.
Just crazy that they both got such a similar scrape.
Yes, in the same area.
Yeah.
That feels
like,
weird, yeah.
Some of them like have so similar injuries, but like they died in different places. It's weird. And it's all so vague. They're just like some abrasions.
Yeah, like they're intentionally hiding something. That's just where my mind goes.
Yeah. So he also, like his hands are very scraped up, which would make sense if he was climbing and fell. But human teeth was found, or human, not teeth, human.
Oh my God, teeth would be insane.
Human flesh was found in his teeth.
Ooh.
And it was probably from his left hand where there's a very jagged gash. So he bit his hand.
Might have bitten his hand.
Yes.
I wonder if that was just like a last ditch, like don't lose consciousness thing.
Maybe.
Because I feel like people do that when they're just like, they got to stay alert. They just bite themselves.
Yeah. Some people theorize that it was like the cold, like he couldn't feel his hands, but he was trying to stay on the tree. So like he was trying to bite his hand to wake it up. That's a theory. Some people say he was stifling a scream.
Oh.
Well, I mean, if you watch like, maybe Yuri fall, he might be like,
sure. Yeah, but like, why do you need to be quiet?
Well, I'm saying you're scared, but also don't want to scare everyone out when you're screaming.
Sure. Yeah. I feel like there's easier ways to stifle a scream than biting your hand
your own
enough
hand is
to like get
extreme.
flesh out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also, you could just been doing it like shock, like to do it, and then like you just bit down because that looked painful.
Yeah.
So like I cringe my mouth when I'm like, that looks bad. So if he had his hand just near his mouth, didn't realize it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess in the fall too, you could hit your hand on your face. And he was burned on like an entire side of his leg.
So it might have also hit some fire.
Yes. Or this just now occurred to me. It could have been after death.
Yeah.
Like if they were like pulling them
fire.
close.
Yeah.
Could be.
That's what I thought about the other guy too.
Yeah. And he had one toe was charred. So he may have also been like the foot with the torn sock, that foot was burned. So he could have also been warming his
well, yeah, and that's obviously the foot that's going to get frostbite if you got no sock.
Yes. Yeah, so they were the least dressed of the entire group. So we assume, like you said, the rest of the group. So they were probably the first to die, is what I'm trying to say. Because they're the ones they took clothes off of. Because like people can't die with other people's clothes on if the other people didn't die first.
Yeah.
So first to be found, probably first to die. Another little visual example of what he wore. He's probably the least dressed of all of them. So the slope. This is the second group of the hikers to be found. So 3 more bodies are found. Zina, Igor, and Rustem. And they were found in the line leading back up the slope towards the tent.
That's creepy.
Yeah, with their head facing towards the tent. So they were going in that direction, which makes me think they knew where the tent was, but just couldn't get there.
Yeah.
Or couldn't go back for some reason.
Something stopped them along the way.
And there's no reason to believe like they all died at the same time, like they were all going together. There's no reason to believe that. Rustem was found a week later, but he was found like in between Igor and Zina. He was found a week later, but he was under more snow. So I don't know if the snow accumulation was over that week or perhaps he died before them and the snow accumulated more on top of him.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Yeah, so Zina and Igor were found under 10 to 15 centimeters of snow. Igor's hands were actually like above the snow. So he, the way they were searching, the way they could have missed Rustem is they were doing avalanche probes and they were doing like every few feet.
Yeah.
So if you walk and they're like, the snow is like 6 feet deep.
So you could miss somebody buried under that much snow.
Yeah, it's not too unusual. Some people will try to be like, oh, they planted him there.
Yeah, I doubt that.
Yeah. But it could be.
Could be.
You can't rule it out.
Anything's possible.
Conspiracy afoot.
And they were, after, I think the first 2, they like tightened their avalanche search. Like they were doing it like several feet apart. Now they're doing it close together.
Well, yeah, after realizing you missed somebody, you gotta kind of, maybe there's more.
So the cedar's 1,500 meters from the tent. They're all about 300 meters. The first one is found. So this is a terrible picture. It's way too short of a distance because it is a very big slope.
Yeah, that's more to scale that sketch than the diagram would be.
Yeah. The sketch on screen is from the view of the tent. The cedar is way in the distance going up the slope of the opposite hill.
Yeah.
And the 3 bodies are found
and that's where they're
very far apart from each other.
God, that just makes me think of that one Led Zeppelin album cover where like they're crawling up the slope. That's what that is making me picture in this weird way. Like the Houses of the Holy, I think is.
Yeah, pull
look
that
up
up.
A picture of that.
It's eerie.
But that's the imagery that's in my head just listening to this description.
I feel like there's always an album cover.
There is. It's like the
PowerPoints.
Well, I mean, it's a very common thing. People do die from.
Yeah, it's like this is the Led Zeppelin album cover.
Oh, okay. I was picturing in snow, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not in snow, but that's just like what that reminds me of with the 3 sort of figures evenly spaced trying to get up this slope.
Yeah. So Zina passed, or she was found February 27th. Cause of death was hypothermia/violence. So in the autopsy report, at the end, you say cause of death. They say she died of hypothermia, but because of her injuries, it was a violent death. Whatever that means.
It's confusing.
It is.
Which was it?
So she definitely did die from cold, but I think her injuries helped it along the way.
Maybe just sped it along.
Yes. So she was wearing 2 hats, long sleeves, an undershirt, sweater that was inside out. Very normal for hikers. Snow gets on your clothes, you turn inside out to dry. Right? I don't know. I've never been hiking.
Seems like a decent strategy there.
She's the one with the sweater with no cuffs that were probably cut off and left at the fire. And cotton sports pants, trousers, ski pants, 3 socks, no shoes. A little bit better dressed. Still no shoes, though. So
3 socks, like she had a double sock on one foot just to keep extra warm, I guess.
Yes, I think they were just finding songs.
Yeah, I guess you take what you can get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the way she was found, her position, the way her like leg is bent, because she's found face down, the way her leg is bent up under her, they think she was crawling up the hill.
Mm.
Other people say, yes, she was crawling, but she was like holding her position there, like trying not to fall or trying not to be seen.
Mm.
I think people are being presumptuous.
You never know.
You never know, though. Anything's possible because there's so much to this case. So all three of the slope victims, they weren't victims of the slope, but the three found on the slope, they all have like knuckle bruises, like they'd been in a fist fight. It's weird. Wow. People like mention the two boys, but they never mentioned Xena. She also had these knuckle bruises. But she had like injuries to her face, like temporal lobe, like like the eyebrow, like the cheekbone, like places you would get hit, I would think.
Yeah.
In the face. Like a scrape across her nose and the back of her hand with the fist fighting injuries.
So there's evidence of some kind of fight.
Maybe. These are like what you would see in a fist fight, not necessarily caused by a fist fight.
It just seems to line up in this weird way.
But the weirdest injury on her is a huge bright red bruise, 29 by 6 centimeters in like on her side. They say lower lumbar region that was in the autopsy says was made by a blunt object.
Oh, no.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And some people say, no, I think it was in the autopsy report. She said like a baton.
A baton. Oh, we're back to the Stalin police theory here.
It's weird. I definitely think these three were like roughed up, if not by each other, by somebody.
Something came and roughed them up.
Yeah. But died of hypothermia. She was much better dressed than the others. So Igor was the next to be found. Cause of death, also hypothermia. He was found on his back. Photographs of them finding his body. Don't go on dyatlovpass.com.
Oh, no.
And go looking for... It's very easy to stumble upon non-censored.
Now that you mentioned it, people are going to go and look at it.
That's true.
That's true.
We can skip past it.
It's okay. It's not illegal, but like, it's going to ruin your day.
Yeah, not a good thing
Some
to see.
Some people like to see those, though. So
people can get a little obsessive.
It's a little too easy to stumble upon non-censored crime scene photos, just as a warning. If you're going to go on dyatlovpass.com. So his were the fists visible above the snow, and that's how they found him. A lot of people call it the boxer pose. Some stupid people are like, oh, he's in a fighting position. No, when you have severe hypothermia, you kind of automatically go into this fetal position with like your fists up.
Yeah.
It's very common. He was wearing a blue sweater, long sleeve, red cotton shirt, ski pants over his pants, no shoes, mismatched socks, so one wool and one cotton. So thickness difference. And I theorize, so they have enough time to pull on socks, but not their shoes, which is confusing to me.
Yeah, somehow that's just too much time to spend, and they had to get moving.
Yeah. But he was also wearing a unbuttoned fur vest that belonged to Yuri Yudin, so the guy who made it back. He says he lent it to either Yuri Doroshenko or Alexander. So the theory is like he could have Igor could have gotten the vest from Yuri's body.
Yeah.
There's a possibility Yuri's memory's not, I believe this is like decades later, this interview, so his memory's not perfect. Or Yuri could have just given, like, it's not his vest. He could have been like, hey, you need a vest? Oh, I got an extra one for you.
They probably shared stuff all the time.
That probably makes sense.
Exactly.
And he just doesn't remember the details of it.
Yeah, which is
Wouldn't have been thinking about it. I mean, that's not something you commit to memory.
Well, also, he could have remembered who he gave it to. And
exactly. One of these
But he'd be
guys.
like, you never know. They could have changed their mind. Someone else gave it to someone else.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Could have swapped hands.
Yeah. And he was wearing a watch, which had stopped at 5:31. So the thing about stopped watches, if they break, and that's how they stopped, you can kind of be like, oh, the event happened at that time. These aren't broken, they just stopped. So these old watches, you wind up either 12 hours or 24 hours. So the only thing we know from this is that 12 hours before 5:31 a.m., he had wound up his watch. So at either 5:31 a.m. the previous day or 5:31 p.m., which makes more sense to me. Like you're done setting up the tent, you're sitting down for dinner, you take your time to wind up your watch. So this reinforces the theory that they died around dinner time, getting ready for bedtime. and there are other watches.
Oh, so there's other watches to take in.
Yes, that do not stop at 5.
Oh, no.
So he has like the fist fight, bruises on his knuckles. He's also very beat up on his eyelids, the cheekbones, both cheeks. And there was dried blood on his lip. Like maybe his lip had been busted. And he's missing a tooth, but that doesn't matter because it's old. But it was said in the autopsy. Both his ankles were like also had abrasions. This is weird because it shows up in someone else. I don't know what could have caused this. It could have been something so simple as like, oh, the shoes they were wearing during the skiing trip. And there was one single incision, 4 by 2 centimeters, on the lower third of his right tibia, which is arm.
It is, yeah, yes. Arm, tibia.
So like an incision. This also pops up on someone else. Very weird. Yeah. So he's a little less stressed than Xena, but I don't know if anyone took clothes from him, though. There's no evidence that anyone took clothes from anyone except for the 2 Yuris.
Yeah.
I just had the thought that like tibia might be leg, though.
It's
I don't
possible.
know why. I think tibia might be like the lower leg. Where
it could be. Yeah, it is.
That's where it is. Okay, we can confirm it by there. I just like had that thought, like, wait, no, that's not right.
It didn't sound right when I said it.
Yeah, like I broke those bones once, and neither of them were tibia. And the arm bones, it's like the radius and the ulna.
Yeah. So and the wounds on his ankle were deep, so they probably weren't just from your boots scraping against your
something
ankles.
got in there.
Yeah.
Very weird. So Rustem, last to be found March 5th. So between Xena and Igor being found, they found the Labaz, the storage, and then they found him. So about a week between them. So his cause of death was also hypothermia. He gets smashed in the head, though.
Something happened in the head. Oh my God.
If he hadn't died of hypothermia, he would have died from this crush.
So that would have gotten him either way.
But yeah, also his head pointing in the direction of the tent, so he was apparently going that way. He was wearing a long sleeve undershirt, a shirt, sweater, 2 pairs of pants, 4 pairs of socks, 1 felt boot. That's the missing pair.
That's the missing boot. Okay.
Yeah, so he had time to put on at least 1 boot. Apparently.
At least we know where the boot went.
Yes, that mystery is solved.
Oh my God, now I'm asleep at night. Yeah.
He's the most stressed of the slope group. And his watch stopped at 8:45. So either they just wound their watches at different times. Like, I think it was like 8:45 a.m. So Rustic did it before bed. Igor did it before dinner. They could have just done that.
Just different habits of different people.
Yes. Or someone lived longer, more than 12 hours longer. And
is they able to wound it a little bit?
What do you mean?
Wound it? They were able to do it?
Yeah. Like if they didn't have like the before dinner time to rewind their watch, maybe they did it later. In circumstances, things are different. They're out and there's no tent. They're going to wind their watch when they have the chance, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, so potentially had another chance to wind his watch.
Yes, maybe. Or we
don't know.
They just did it at different times.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with like when they died. But he had a bunch of stuff in his pocket. So a pocket knife, a comb, a box of 48 matches, which is, I don't know if they were wet, but like they were having trouble lighting a fire apparently.
But he had matches.
He had matches.
Somehow those didn't get used.
Yes. Also, fist fight wounds on his knuckles. He had a bunch of bruises on his face, and there's traces of blood from his nose. Like he had a bloody nose. So he was alive when that happened. And a bruise on his left tibia. Not an incision, but a bruise.
So again, some kind of similarity between the injuries.
Yes. And he has this huge, like it looks almost like his head was squished. Like there's an injury on one side of his head and then a lesser injury on the opposite side of his head.
Weird. So it is some kind of vice-like thing, perhaps.
Maybe. Or if like he was hit with something, landed on something.
Yeah. You could get squeezed between a rock and a hard place that way.
Yeah. So that's like where the Yeti thing comes from. Like he was squeezed by the Yeti.
Squeezed by the Yeti.
Yeah. And he's the best dressed, the warmest, seemingly the most prepared. He has like some supplies. He has at least 1 boot.
But still didn't make it out.
Yeah. So the search never stops, but it does wane. So the investigators do request for an extension. It was supposed to end April 28th. They move it. They give them a month more to find the rest of the bodies. And in their request, they say, because we haven't found the rest of the hikers, it is impossible to establish the cause of the death or the perpetrators, and or the meteorological conditions of the area. Meteorological.
So that's just weather, right? Like they're talking about
or missiles.
Missiles. Oh no, that would count as meteorology.
So they use the word meteorological in reference to missiles later.
Oh,
so it could. I think it's like a translation thing, like thing in the sky.
I guess so. Yeah,
maybe. Yeah.
I didn't read the original Russian. So in between this gap between the two, like the first group of bodies being found and then the last 4, it's about 2 months. In between that, the lead investigator gets fired. Fired or let go, I'm not sure, but it's suspicious.
Disappeared.
Yes.
You know too much.
And within these 2 months, the bodies that have been found have been autopsied, they've been buried, and they've had their funeral.
Were they ever thinking like the ones they couldn't find might have did it? Like, was that ever a theory or?
I don't think it was a theory yet. I think it was there wasn't enough information yet, but like they needed to find them to like get the rest of the story. Definitely.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if that was where they were going with that whole, like, we can't find the others, so we can't determine the perpetrator. I wonder if that's what some of them were thinking. Like these guys did it and ran off.
Possible.
But who knows?
But part of the reason they wanted to wait is the snow is just so deep. Like they're going to wait till summer where they can actually, the snow's melted. And that's probably a good stopping point before we get to the last group of bodies found.
Okay.
Yeah. So 2 months later, we'll come back and see what we find.
Not that we're going to take 2 months to get to this information.
No.
But it's a nice little time skip moment.
Yes.